right. A few people didn't have 10-4 graded for one reason or another. I have no idea why. I swear I did this one twice that day, but that's okay. Here we go. So 10.4. 6 was C. 8 was D. Number 10, you ended up with this final equation right here. X squared over 16 minus y squared over 20 equals 1. After plugging in your clues, plugging in your hints. Number 26, let me give you guys a second. Maybe we were supposed to grade this one yesterday? I don't know. It was weird. Okay. Number 26, you have your center, your vertices, your foci for your asymptotes. Hopefully you guys got the plus or minus 5/12, but maybe you didn't realize they actually wanted you to do the equation of the line. Equation of asymptotes, you just have to do this y1 equals the m is what you found by doing the rise over the run, or the 5 over the 12. But you would have needed to plug in an x and y. And what point do the asymptotes go through, guys? Who is this guy? Yeah. So you can just do y minus k and x minus h. So you could have just done your HK. That would have been your point, and then you would have put in your plus or minus 5/12. Now they got y by itself, but they didn't even make it all nice and pretty and simplified. So that's okay, you don't either. My little flowery, bright and cheerful ones. I was looking, there's like a sea of like pink and purples and yellows and all sorts of stuff. Okay, number 42. This guy was a little bit weird. This guy would have been a little bit weird, number 42. He's probably harder than anything on the test tomorrow. He's probably harder than anything on the test tomorrow. The foci, plus or minus 10. But the asymptotes were plus or minus 3 over 4. The weird thing is we couldn't put in for my, or our, hyperbola, we couldn't put in 3 and 4. We could have done the x minus 0 because we have these two horizontally apart, so the x comes first. We would have had the y part be second. Can anybody tell how I knew just looking at the foci? How did I know that the center was at 0, 0? What's halfway in between plus and minus 10? Yeah. And normally we would say, hey, take that 3, that's the rise, that would be this guy. And take the 4, it's the run, it would be this guy underneath the x. And we're like, we're done, but we're not. Why not? Because hyperbola, a squared plus b squared needs to equal. But 16 and 9 don't equal 100. So what was going on? 3/4 must have been reduced form of, oh, well, what else could have made 3/4? Well, multiply by 2. How about 6/8? Multiply by 3. How about 9/12? How? Okay, let's take it one at a time. So let's try. What about 6 and 8? Oh. Now we found the right 3/4. So then we would go ahead and we would put in 4 squared. We would put in, careful, it'd be 6 over 8, rise over run. So the 6 needs to go with the y. And then the 8 needs to go with the x. There we go. Now we get the final one. So that one was really nasty. Once again, probably harder than anything on the test tomorrow. Because it's like 3 over 4. Yay! Oh, 6 over 8. Just kidding. Okay. 54 was a circle. How can you guys tell? Just by looking at it without doing tons of work. Both are squared, not a parabola. There's a plus, not a hyperbola. Wait. You guys seen what I'm doing? So how did I rule out parabola? Both are squared. Parabolas only have one that's squared, right? Okay, so not a parabola. How do I know not a hyperbola? It's a plus, not a minus, right? How do I know it's not a line? Because they're squared. Lines don't have squares. Okay, so it's an ellipse. Maybe, except what are the coefficients in front? Ones. Now, remember how sometimes we could get something called a degenerate? What's the only way that we could figure out this is not a degenerate? Because either it's a circle or it's a degenerate. Well, to do that, wouldn't we have had to do the whole little snazzy? And we would have actually complete the square. I've had to take, how do we complete the square again, just in case you have to it all tomorrow? Divide by 2, which would be a 4, right? So then we would add, do we have anything in front we have to worry about? No? Okay, cool. So we can do plus 4. And then this guy, cut it in half. Sorry, I already did. I already cut it in half. There we go. Nothing in front, so I can just add the 9. So I end up with 2736. Hey guys, any problem with this? Nope. Because is it a 0? No, I can divide him. He'll be just fine. So if you wanted to double check, you could also go ahead and see if he's a degenerate. As long as he's not, these clues work. For instance, look at number 56. Yes, there's like this whole table in the book you can memorize with A's and B's and C's and D's. Who's a parabola, who's an ellipse, but check it. How many squares are there? What must he be if he's not degenerate? If he's not degenerate, he's a parabola. How about this guy? Not a hyperbola, not a parabola, not a line. Must be an ellipse because these numbers are different. As long as he's not degenerate, he's an ellipse. Both squares, there's a plus, numbers are different. Circle would have been like 4 and a 4 and a 2 and a 2. That would have been a circle. Why does it say hyperbola? Check it. Check it. Can you look at the problem you wrote down? Maybe there's another problems. What did your problem say? Was it 4y squared plus 2x squared? Minus. Check the work. What did they write down for the 2? But what's the 2 in the problem? But you guys just read me the problem. What was the problem? So it would have been an ellipse if their wrong way of writing it was correct. But now that the problem is how you guys have fixed it to be, it can't be an ellipse because there's a perfect. So does that hyperbola make sense? Good. Good. If there was a plus, it would have been a problem with it wrong, and it was. It's a hyperbola. So number 66. Aha! Why is he an ellipse? Because the problem is incorrectly, and it's a plus. Whoops, there it is. All right, so that's section 10.4. I think we were supposed to grade it yesterday, and something went wrong. I apologize for that. Let's go peek at the one where you guys were sketching last night. The handout, section 12.3. The odds were 1 and 5 and 7 and, okay, so the only evens were 4 and 10. Something like that. So I'm pulling up 4 and 10 so that we can peek at it. You guys should have it already written down. Number 4. I will pull up the odds in just a second, like on the answer key from the book, just in case you guys want to ask me something about the odds. But 4 and 10 right now, let's go ahead and grade them. And I'm going to, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to make the graph. Now remember, tomorrow, am I going to make you draw a specific ellipse, hyperbola, parabola, etc. first, and then also have to spin it? Or am I going to separate those two types of problems? Yeah, I'm not going to give you one big Mama Bahama problem, just make the whole test. Okay, can you do, yeah, I know. Can you do everything that we talked about in chapter 2? No. So if I want you to make an ellipsoid, a hyperboloid, or a paraboloid, I'm going to give you the picture and ask you to do the following. Ask you to show me a certain axis. For instance, for an ellipse, what kind of axes could I ask you to spin around? Well, I won't say x, y. Remember, I'll say major or Minor. Major is the longer one. Minor is... How do you show me which one you're going to go around? Little arrow. You get a point for doing the arrow on the right axis. So the major versus the... So I'm going to spin an ellipse, whether it's this way or this way. I'm going to tell you to spin it around its major. Do the right one. And then once you show me the picture, after the rotation, you show me the picture, then you're going to have to know what are the two. Prolate, pro football. And oblate, obtuse, thick, wide, whatever you want to think about. Oblate. Okay, hold on. What are the two axes for hyperbolas? Which one's the skewer that goes through? Transverse. Transcontinental is going to go through. It's going to skewer the hyperbolas. Transverse. And then, what's the other one? Conjugate. So transverse, skewer, hyperbolas, conjugate, or touch. You're going to which one with the little rotation arrow. You're going to do what you need to show me the third dimension, right? Name it. What are two different names for hyperboloids? If you spin around the transverse, they stay separate. They're two sheet. If you spin around the conjugate, it's one big hourglass, one sheet. Okay, what am I missing? Ellipsoids, hyperboloids, paraboloids. Paraboloids always spin around what axis? Could be the y, could be the x. The axis that shows the symmetry, axis of symmetry. So where would be my axis of symmetry, horizontal or vertical? Sweet, and I make a bowl, right? So going around this one. Where's my axis of symmetry? Spin it, and you make a bowl. Paraboloid. Good. I won't have you name the paraboloids because there are no special names. It's just paraboloid. That's it. Number 4. You guys have the equation that you can read off to me so that we can check it, right? What's the equation for number 4 that you were supposed to get a graph for? It was an ellipsoid, and then the equation they gave you was 4x squared. 64? Oh, 16. Okay. This is reviewing section, well, it's an ellipse, so section 10.3. If you got this as your standard form for an ellipse, you wouldn't want a graph from that. That's disgusting. So think yellow box, ellipses. What do I want? Don't I want x minus h? Don't I want division? And I want a 1. How do I get a 1, guys? Divide everything by 16, exactly. So dividing everything by 16. P.S. Isn't that very standard form in your calculator somewhere? Joel, stay awake. We're reviewing for tomorrow. So where's the calculator going to show us that standard form if we need it? Conics under apps, right? Okay. So if I divide everybody by 16, isn't that going to be x squared over 4? Y squared over 16 equals... Oh, that's a plus. It's an ellipse. Good. Can't we put my center at? You guys good at this yet? Where's my center? X minus 0, y minus 0, both squared. Why am I going 2 on the x, but 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y? Struggle. It's okay. Why am I going 4 on the y, but only 2 on the x? 4 squared. Good. So the 2 is underneath the x1, right? The 4 is underneath the y1. Oh, sweet. Kiddos, what was the rest of the problem? Rotate about. Zero to x equals 2. About the y-axis? Which I would have called it not the y-axis. I would have said rotate about the, who's this guy? Major axis. Majors, ooh, major, pro, what? Anyway. So, but majors might help you remember too, right? So, but that's going to be basic. So, when we spin it, how are you guys going to show me the rotation? How should you have? Following this guy, right? Little spinny things. What are you not going to do? You're not going to draw anything like an atom, right? No atoms, not in this one. Because this one is called the prolate. Okay, that was number 4. We have one more even, right? Number 10? Okay, so let's go ahead and do number 10 real fast. Took my prolate with him. I don't know why. Let's undo that. That's not helpful. Okay, number 10, what was the equation? What was it? Oh, that's the shape. What was the equation? Y equals 3.5? 0.5x. Okay. 0.5 is nasty to me. Is that nasty to anyone else? 0.5 could also be written as, and why do I like 1/2? Can't you see rise over run? A lot easier. Now, hold on. It cut it off. Cut it off. Infinite something I'm spinning. So it cut it off. I don't know. Did it say anything like from x equals? Okay. So then I'm going to start at 0, 0 because my plus b is 0. When I think about it, you could think of it as y minus 0 equals 1/2 x minus 0. Your center is, anyway. Then my slope is going to be up 1. Up 1 over 2. Why am I going x? Haha. What am I going to do the other direction? I'm going to go down to -6. Do I have my 6 to -6? The answer is yes. Where am I supposed to spin it? It was an accident, but I'll take it. Where am I supposed to spin it? It should be in the wording. You guys, I mean, there's no question up here. The question is in your... Now, we didn't do this one yesterday. Yeah. Now, as you spin, this stays fixed. As you spin, did you see what it formed? Double-naped cone. There it is. Spin, 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 spin. There are no cones on the test tomorrow, but it was a good exercise to see if you guys were visualizing these correctly. It's kind of like a double hourglass, but it meets at a point in the middle. Kiddos, those are the end of the evens, the homework, checking, etc. We could peek at the odds, or I'm just reminding maybe some of you that there were the odds. We tried to show it yesterday and on Friday as far as where the odds are. They're way here at the end. So if you guys need to check, remember we skipped 11, we skipped 13, but if you needed to check either 1 or 5 or 7, there you go, you can see your shapes. Here's what I want to do. Let's go ahead and in our homework spirals, turn to a new page. Most of you have not started your test review. Let's go ahead and work on our test review. What? No, you need to do your whole test review thing. Like, what are the problems on the test tomorrow? Well, maybe I'll give you a couple hints as to the types of problems, but didn't we do that yesterday? Yellow box is 10-1, yellow box is 10-2, yellow box is 10-3, 10-4. Spinning, knowing the names, 12-3. Now, like that's so much to memorize. But wait, do you need to memorize the standard forms? I guess if you want to go faster, or you can look at your Conics app, right? What do you really need to be studying? The weird formulas from 10-1. 10-2. 10-3. Focus asymptotes from 10-4. The name of the conics in 10-5. 3. Okay, so the standard forms are there to help you. You are not making a formula card for tomorrow, but we do have that Conics app that you can refer to. If anyone does not have the, if anyone has the old calculators with the yellow buttons, you're just going to be missing your standard forms tomorrow. And if you're like, I am totally lost, you can raise your hand and I can give you a standard form. One of the other, they don't get it on their calculators either. I'll give you a standard form if you would like tomorrow. I'll show you the test review homework so you guys can see it. I think I have it right here. There we go. But you do not have to write questions. You do not have to write directions or problems. pull the review up on the screen. You guys can also go grab a book. The best thing for us to do is to get some practice problems and you guys be able to ask me anything you get stuck on. Does that sound good? Okay. And that way too you'll have less homework tonight on formulas and studying. An old version of the test just in case there's something, an extra hint I can give you, and I'll try to. But pause. Once you have the review written down, can you guys just look at your notes and make sure your table of contents are all the way up to date? I hate taking off points on notes. It's really, really sad. So maybe just check your table of contents really quickly. If you need a book, go grab it. Otherwise, I'm pulling up the review on the screen. And if you guys have any old homework questions I didn't answer, wave me over as soon as I get the review on the screen. If you guys need to move to work with someone who would be more beneficial for you preparing for tomorrow, do that. If you want to stay, that's okay as well. Here's the review. If you can see it, I can zoom in a little bit too, but here's the review, the first page of problems. Yes, as long as if it's